Welcome to the Outdoor View, your window into the great outdoors. I'm Wanda, your host for today, and I'd like to introduce my guest, Tyler Malloy. Hey,
Hello,
Tyler.
everyone. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Tyler, at the Outdoor View, we like to break things down to basics and make it real simple for people who may be interested in certain things that have to do with conservation or hunting and things like that. And so it's my understanding that in the last year or so, you recently went through the process of getting your hunting license.
I have, yeah. So I believe it was sometime last year before summer. So what is that? Is that spring? Yeah, that's spring, right?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the seasons. Anyway, so yeah, it was sometime last year. And, luckily, during the year of COVID, I was able to take the Hunter's Ed course all online. So it took me a couple of days to finish, really easy to complete. And the interface of the website was really compatible. It wasn't complicated. It was really easy to get through the videos. It was really educational. Um, and the quizzes were pretty easy. I mean, if you pay attention and you just go through each panel, it's really easy to pass and to obtain your hunter's ed license so you can get out there and hunt.
So you said it was really educational. Tell me some of the things about it that you thought were, cool about learning things that you learned.
Yeah. So it breaks down the history of hunting, gun safety rules and how to interact with game wardens and what their job is, and just the basics of hunting. One thing that really stuck out in my mind while taking the course was I believe it's called the Pittman-Robertson Act in 1937, which was enacted that taxes hunters and even non-hunters that buy weapons and ammunition and bows and arrows and all that stuff. A large portion of that tax goes to the federal government that is only for conservation throughout the United States' wilderness. So a little fun fact I learned from it was that hunters and non-hunters, that participate in shooting sports and stuff like that and archery and whatnot are huge contributors to conservation. I think it was like $18 billion since 1937 that they've been like the number one contributor to conservation. And I don't think people really know that or understand that.
You're right. And, that's a big reason why we started the Outdoor View, because we want to bring things down to basics and educate people and be a place where anyone can come to the website and learn more about conservation, learn more about hunting, learn more about what hunters do for wildlife management and for the quality of life for all these different animals. And, you said that you learned about the game wardens and their jobs. And, and that's another interesting fact, I think, because people who are not exposed to hunting and conservation efforts and things like that, like when I was younger, I don't think I ever, if someone had spoke to me about hunting or fishing or this or that, I don't think I would have ever realized that there are game wardens out there making sure that things are happening the way they're supposed to. Yeah. And that if people aren't abiding by the law, they're in trouble.
Yeah. And the scariest thing about being a game warden too is like you're dealing with people that have guns the whole time. So it's like it's a respectable job in that light, because they're going out there, and if people are poaching, they're breaking the law. And another thing is that they have a gun on them. So it's
exactly
a spooky job.
Yeah. And then that's another thing about poaching too, that at the Outdoor View, we like people to be educated on, is like when people refer to poaching, that's someone who goes out, shoots an animal illegally, and they did something illegal. They're going to be in trouble for that. A hunter who goes out and shoots an animal does things respectfully, abiding by the law. Yeah. And so not to confuse the two.
Yeah, no way. And not only that, but you have these these poachers that go out there and they hunt these animals, where hunters who abide by the law, they get in these polling systems and they wait to get pulled for a certain game that they want to hunt. And sometimes they don't even get pulled, and they're just like, oh, well, bummer, I guess I'll wait for next year. I'm not going to go out there and poach and break the law.
They are true contributors to the quality of life of animals and the wildlife management. And so they work hand in hand with the state, they do a huge part in maintaining the life of wildlife. And one of the analogies as far as poaching goes that I've mentioned before, because some people, I think when they hear someone shot an animal, but it was a poacher, they can't separate, well, a hunter shoots an animal too. So why is that different? Do you know what I mean? They can't separate it. And so one of the great analogies, I think, is, when someone goes in and robs a bank and shoots someone and kills them, you don't hear, oh, the bankers shot someone and killed them. You know what I mean? It's the robber who does something illegal, just like a poacher does something illegal.
Exactly. And I think the hunters have more of an appreciation for the wildlife when they're ultimately not poaching and they're hunting legally. Poachers don't really have the respect, one, for the law, and they don't have any respect for the wildlife, because they're just going to go out there and do whatever they want to do. So that's my take on it.
So overall, you thought the process for getting a hunting license online was pretty cool, and you learned a lot. And
super cool, pretty easy. Again, the interface on the website is really helpful, and it's really easy to navigate through certain pages and courses, and it was really helpful.
Well, that's great that you did that, because right now the only way that you can get a hunting license is online, as you know. And in the past, it was extremely difficult for people to get a hunting license, because quite often they would get complaints about not being able to find a class. If they did, it wasn't the right date, or the class was full, and there was one time when Bill and I decided to host a class here because they were so short on being able to provide classes for people who wanted hunting licenses. And so I think the minimum was 3 people we could do in a class, and that's what we chose to do. And boom, in one day we had 3 people. So we upped it to 5. And then we upped it to 10, then 15, then 20. So in a matter of a couple of days, we were totally booked at 20 and still had a waiting list for people wanting to get their hunting license. So if there's people out there who are interested in getting their hunting license, I would encourage them to do it now while they could still do it online, because it's not always going to stay this way,
Yeah. And hopefully they just transition to having it online, because it makes it so much more accessible for people that either don't have the time to, go to an 8 or 10 hour course. And it's really easy, because you could just finish up a little portion here, log out, wait a day or 2. And then when you have time, you can just pick up to where you left off. So hopefully they transition to just doing it fully online, because it was really easy.
Well, that's good to hear. I don't know that they're going to keep it that way, but in the past they had 2 options. They had where you can attend a class 10 hours straight and get the whole thing done, or I think it was 4-hour class and then 6 hours online. And so those were the 2 options in the past, but now everything's online. So anyone who wants a hunting license, I would encourage you to do it now, because we just don't know how soon it will be before they start changing to classes again, or if they even will. We don't know yet. Got to wait and see. But at any rate, Tyler, what prompted you to get your hunting license?
What prompted me? I guess, as you know, Uncle Bill Gaines, he's my uncle. So I've pretty much been surrounded by it my whole life, just because going up to your guys' house on the holidays and seeing Uncle Bill's trophies and everything. I guess it's kind of always piqued my interest, but living in a city, coming from the Bay Area, I just moved to Placerville in April. And I guess hunting really just never crossed my mind because it wasn't a rural area as where I'm at now. So I think moving out here is kind of what piqued my interest a little more. And after talking to Uncle Bill a little more about it and getting more interested in it and wanting to get my feet wet and get out there and give it a go, that's kind of when I asked him, hey, how do I go about getting my hunter's license and all that stuff? And he walked me through the process, which was really helpful.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky to have your uncle to help you through that process. And now for our viewers who don't have an uncle that can help them through the process, you got Tyler here, guys.
Here I am.
You got Tyler. You want to connect with Tyler, he'll help you out.
Not only that, but I was also interested too, because it's just such a important heritage in civilizations past. I mean, we all came from hunter-gatherer societies, and I think passing down that generational wealth, even just basic hunting, I think it's really important. And I think people should appreciate and become knowledgeable and learn how to hunt, because, you never know if you need to provide for yourself or your family, if you need to hunt or not, and I think it's really important that people get out there and give it a try at least once.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know you and I were talking in the past about how it's good for anyone, even if they don't plan on hunting, to gain knowledge and conservation and to understand it and how it all works. Because I know that there's a lot of people, including myself in the past, where it was like, oh, I don't want to shoot something. And
I was totally the same way, and I projected my emotions onto that animal, and I felt sad about it and everything. But once you learn that there's particular seasons or particular laws, what animals you can and cannot shoot, you really understand that it's actually you're assisting in preserving the natural habitat and the wildlife, and you're contributing to that, which is ultimately a great thing. I mean, there's a bunch of turkeys out there, and I think each season it's about three that I think you could bag. And so you can't exceed that limit, because there's a cap, and you can't just go out blasting turkeys away, how many ever you want. So I think it's a really cool thing to be a contributor and helping out balance the environment.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So tell me, what was your very first hunt? Why don't you explain to the viewers what it was and what the experience was like?
So it was really fun. I believe I went up to your guys' house. It was on my birthday of this year, March 27th. And that was the first day that turkey season had opened for that season. So I went up to your guys' house, stayed for a few days. And this was a long time coming, too, because I think the season prior to that in November, I was probably at your guys' house, a handful of days trying to get my first turkey, and it never worked out. And so funny. And, the turkeys were flying on your guys' roof and everything. And it was just a really funny experience. And so March 27th comes around, the first day opening of this past turkey season. And, it was just me and Uncle. We got up early, great bonding moment. We were just talking, and we had to stay really quiet, of course, because the turkeys have phenomenal hearing. And so once we started to see the group of turkeys coming our way, we were calling them in. And that's when, two brother turkeys, I believe, came in, and I got one and Uncle got the other one. So, we came back with two turkeys, and it was a fun experience. It was pretty exhilarating.
What is so funny about that is, I'm not kidding you, I don't think I've ever seen so many doggone turkeys fly on our roof the entire time we have lived here.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on that weekend, but they knew you were out there.
Oh, they knew. They totally knew. Yeah. It was so funny.
And I remember sitting in the family room, I'm like, what the heck was that? I can't begin to tell you how many turkeys were landing on our roof.
It was
You
insane.
know?
I'm looking straight ahead and they're coming down, and then I hear something behind me and I look and I'm like, oh my God. And there's like a turkey like 10 feet away from me. And I'm like, oh my God. It was too funny. It was too funny.
Honestly, I don't know that I ever remember. We've been here for over 16 years now. I don't think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Bill could remind me of something. I don't know. But I don't think I ever remember a turkey landing on our roof. And that day, I don't even think I could count how many were landing on our
It's
roof.
probably like 10 or 15. Yeah, yeah. It was so funny.
At any rate, yeah. So, but that day it was fun, and I know that was the day, your birthday, when you got
Yeah,
your first turkey, and it was the first day that we did a live interview. I think it was
that's
on the
right.
Outdoor View,
That's right.
and
Yeah.
so that was pretty fun. That was a great day, and
Really great birthday experience. Yeah.
yeah, I remember that you were so frustrated. I think it was the weekend before, and finally on your birthday, it was like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was hype.
You know, and turkey hunting, it's always a great first hunt. It's great for people with disabilities, just like, Brittany. For the viewers who don't know Brittany, she's in a wheelchair, and she gets out with Bill hunting, and it's an awesome experience for people who are just starting up with hunting, and for people who are disabled too.
Yeah.
And so at any rate, I heard you got a taste of deer hunting.
Yeah, I got a little taste. I mean, I had my deer tag this season. It ended, I think, a couple weeks ago. I didn't get lucky, but that's okay because, come around the next season, I think I will. But there's been a lot of deer out here on our property. And you know what? Actually, I believe it was yesterday morning, there was about 5 deer in our horse pen. And Pierre, our dog, our little like Chiweenie dog, he goes out there chasing them, chases them off. And I'm like, yeah, how convenient that they're here now, after about a week after deer season opens. And my mom was telling me too, she's like, they were all bucks too. They were all bucks. Yeah. But, I think I went to the vineyard, one of Uncle's friends. I went to his vineyard, and me and Brittany actually went out there too. Brittany was Uncle Bill's hunting buddy, so she was sitting out there with him. And then I went in my own little spot, and we didn't get lucky. We didn't see any deer or anything, but we just sat there and being amongst the nature and watching the sunset afterwards. It was really beautiful, and it was just nice to be out there in the outdoors.
Is that where you guys went? Did that have that deer stand or whatever?
No, that one doesn't have a deer stand. But I mean, down my property, I still haven't used that deer stand yet. On my property, there's 2
Oh,
deer.
that's right. You did.
Yeah.
You discovered a deer stand on your property. That's
I
right.
haven't used it. Yeah, I haven't used it yet.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That's super cool. So yeah, okay. So what about duck hunting? Have you done any duck hunting?
I did duck hunting once, and that was with Uncle. I'm not sure when it was. I would assume it was probably this year sometime. I'm not sure when the duck hunting seasons are, but I went with Uncle. We went to his duck blind, and we didn't really get lucky. There wasn't a lot of birds out, but probably the last 30 minutes before hunting closed, there was these pair of ducks. I'm not familiar with the different types of ducks, and I know Uncle knows probably tens of hundreds of names of different kind of waterfowl and birds and whatnot. But this duck had come down, and I kind of got a little shy and gun shy, I guess, if you want to call it. And I wasn't pulling the trigger, and I was like, oh, I can't do it. And Uncle Bill was like, come on, take it. And then he gets up and he tries to take it, and he misses, and it was pretty fun. But overall, it was just a really fun experience. Uncle and I, we just hung out in the duck blind. Camo was there. It was a great bonding experience. We were just hanging out, took some pictures of the sunset. It was beautiful. Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being outdoors like that and hunting and in nature, you always experience something that's just amazing,
Yeah. Well,
when you're
and the thing is too, it's I think I was telling you this earlier, but it's kind of like all the waterfowl, they know exactly when hunting is done, that 30-minute mark, because right after hunting was over and Uncle Bill was like, okay, well, we got to pack up and get ready to go. I swear it's probably hundreds of birds were just flying over our head, and we're just like, oh, great. Now you come out to, to play. And me and Uncle just kind of hung out there, and he was using all these different kinds of callers to call them in, and they were swooping right down below our blind. And it was really fun. It was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. It is like they know. It's just,
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. Yeah. So at any rate, I understand that you're going to be going duck hunting in the morning.
that's right. Yeah. So me and Uncle, we are going to set up his blind, and after we get that all situated, we're gonna be in his new area where he has a duck blind, and we're gonna go hunting. I'm excited.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I understand you're going to be coming late and spending the night. And
Yep.
yeah, we're having venison spaghetti tonight. So we'll
Right.
save you some if you get here late.
Yep. Save me a dish. Yes.
Yeah. So tell me, is there anything else that you want to like when you think about your friends back home in the Bay Area who might have an interest in hunting? Is there anything you'd like to share with those people who are thinking about going and getting their hunting license, but they're a little bit, you know, uh,
Reluctant to.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, totally. I think even if you don't want to get out there and hunt, I think taking that hunter's ed course is really beneficial because you learn a lot about it. You can go through the whole process of gun safety, the history of hunting, all these different great resources that they have on that website. And even if you don't want to hunt, I really highly suggest just get your hunting license. Just go through that course and experience it. You know, kind of see it through a person who does want to hunt through their eyes. And then for those people that do want to hunt, definitely get on it now because it's online, and I highly recommend doing it now. Really easy. And you know, for those people that are a little reluctant to shoot because they've never shot before or they've never gone hunting, I think it's I think it's just something you have to get used to and you adapt to it really quickly. I mean, for example, for me, I was telling my mom the other day, actually, um, you know, it's almost kind of like getting your permit when you drive. You know, you're driving with other licensed people. There's somebody in the car there with you. And then once you get your license officially, you don't have to drive with those licensed drivers anymore. So the first time I drove with my license, I was like, oh my God, there's nobody in the car with me. I was really nervous and it was really weird. And it was something just really novel to me. And it took me time to get used to, but after I've driven for such a long time, you know, it's just second nature to me. And the amount of times that I've hunted, it's so small. And I could probably count the amount of times I've hunted on my one hand, but I'm already starting to adapt to it, get used to it, getting used to how the gun works and you know, becoming more knowledgeable with hunting with Uncle Bill and all of that. So um, also just get on some Facebook groups and find like-minded people, because I'm blessed and lucky enough to have a mentor like you and Uncle Bill, where if I need to pick your brain about something, or especially getting my hunter tags and my hunting licenses and everything, I'm always texting Uncle and I'm like, hey Uncle, like what link do I need to go to? And like
yeah,
it's because it's not complicated, but you know, it's just a new thing for me. So I had to get his advice. So I'm lucky to have two mentors like that. But you know, I'm sure there's Facebook groups out there of like-minded people. Your guys' website, I'm sure, provides great resources. And eventually, once you guys, you know, your website is out there longer, you'll provide those types of resources too. And yeah, there's a lot of resources where you can, you know, learn, YouTube, all those kinds of things. So just get out there and do it. Even if you don't want to hunt, just take the hunter's ed course. I think it'll change your perspective if you know, you don't really agree with hunting, I guess.
yeah. I think like we were talking, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about how wildlife management and conservation, how it really works. And so you're right. You are absolutely right that for someone to take that hunting course just to be educated
Yeah.
is so valuable. And it's like, if there are any viewers out there who are watching this and going, you know, I don't know about shooting animals and this and that and da da da. Oh gosh, please take that course, like Tyler says, because it really truly is so valuable. And then, in addition to that, at the Outdoor View, we, you know, theoutdoorview.org is our website, but that's where we want to make things easy, make things simple for people who need more knowledge or want to be educated on certain things that have to do with hunting or conservation efforts and things like that. And so, yeah, I can't encourage people enough to take that course and then to stay plugged in with us as well.
Yeah.
So
And you know,
at the Outdoor View.
big piggyback on your comment also, I mean, hunting isn't all hunters aren't like, I want to kill something. You know what I mean? I think they're the most, I think they respect animals out of the most I've ever seen, you know, out of anybody, because they truly care about the wildlife, the environment, conservation. And especially when I'm out there with Uncle Bill, you know, he teaches me so, like, sometimes it's just a whole earful because he has so much, he has so much knowledge. And I'm sure you've gotten into these rants that he's had about, you know, conservation and everything. And it's like, it's a lot to take in, but at the same time, he's educating me on so much I just did not know. And so I think, especially with experiencing hunting with Uncle Bill, he is just the most passionate person about conservation and about hunting and about respecting the wildlife, that it astounds me, because I don't think I've met anybody else in my life that cares and appreciates so much about the outdoors than Uncle Bill does. Truly, it's not just about killing, you know, it's about providing a meal for you, your loved ones, you know, like that turkey that I hunted with Uncle. I just felt so good just when me and Uncle Bill, we made a meal for you guys and we sat at the dinner table, and I just thought it was so cool that it was something that I got and that me and Uncle Bill prepared for you guys. And I just thought that was really cool. You know, it was a great experience to extend that experience with you guys by sharing it with you on the dinner table. You know, it was really cool.
Yeah, I know that for Bill and I both, when people say, I want to go kill something today, you know, referring to hunting, we just cringe, because it's really, I mean, granted, you're going to take an animal, and that's not what we're loving doing, but it's the wildlife management and God blessing us and providing for us in that way. A meal on our table is just, we're so thankful. And that's one thing at the Outdoor View that we want to do too, is to keep things at a very respectful level, where, you know, when you're outdoors and you take an animal, it's with utmost respect and knowing that God is blessing us and being able to provide something to put on the table for our family, you know? So it's something we think that people should maintain that level of respect. And,
totally, big time.
Yeah. Well, Tyler, I'm excited about you going hunting tomorrow, and I wish you all the success.
Thank you.
Yeah, and keep us posted. If you know, take some photos, put them on the Outdoor View.
I definitely will.
Yeah. So thank you for.
Sure, Uncle and I are going to take so many pics tomorrow. It's going to be fun.
I'm sure you will. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us, Tyler.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and I just want to thank all the viewers out there for joining us today at the Outdoor View, the place where we educate, connect, and learn to protect our outdoor traditions. And so make sure you stay tuned with us at theoutdoorview.org, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and visit our Facebook page at The Outdoor View. And once again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you all next week.